Welcome back to the ranking show. Last week, we took a break from the NFL ranking action to rank some sunflower seeds. We did the Chinook Seedery sunflower seeds taste test, all 8 or 9 flavors, one of the two. So definitely go back and watch that. Again, use promo code FLURRY, FLURRY at ChinookSeedery.com. You can get 10% off sunflower seeds all summer long. So definitely go and do that. But tonight, we are ranking AFC and NFC West by position. So we'll be doing a tier list going by position, quarterback, running back, etc. for the NFC West, then the AFC West. Trevor Land in the middle, Luke Reimer on the right. I am Zach Bruner. If you are listening to this as an audio podcast, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars. If you are not watching us on YouTube, go and do that as well. The Flurry Sports YouTube channel, and subscribe there. We're dangerously close to 13,000 subscribers. I anticipate doing that, hitting that mark tonight or tomorrow. You could be one of the lucky few to help push us over the edge. And what an honor that would be. But before we jump into the rankings, Luke has a pop quiz for us, is what I hear.
A pop quiz. I think we've probably done this on the show before. But I saw on Twitter 9 players in the NFL that have a no trade clause. I'll give you a hint. They're all quarterbacks.
Okay, Kirk Cousins for sure.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers, I assume.
Nope.
Really? Interesting. Okay. Mahomes.
That's 2.
Can't be anybody on a rookie contract. So I would go. For some reason, it's not right. I want to say Tyrod Taylor, but it's not right. He deserves one though.
Nope.
Okay. Who else? Who else would be there? Josh Allen.
Yep, that's 3.
Lamar.
4.
Does Jared Goff have one?
That's 5.
Wow. Okay. Kyler.
Nope.
Good.
Stafford.
Nope. 2 that we're going to rank tonight, or I mean next week. No, we're doing the West tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 2 that we're going to rank next week.
Next week. Okay. Does Daniel Jones have one?
Nope.
Okay. Jalen?
Dak.
Well, yeah, Jalen and Dak.
So then how many more? 1 more?
2 more.
After Jalen and Dak?
Yep.
We're at the 7. There's 9?
Yep. 1 that we're going to rank tonight.
Does Herbert?
Yep.
And then the last one.
Derek Carr.
Must be.
No.
Damn it.
Baker?
Nope. One of Baker's old teams.
Deshaun
Watson.
Yeah. Yeah, good for him. He's earned it.
Yeah,
he's earned every penny, every clause, every lawsuit. He's done it all. He really has, except for winning the NFL.
I read that yesterday. I thought it was kind of interesting.
That is interesting. I'd like to know how many other positions have them. Or was that just period across the NFL?
From what I read, those are the only 9 players in the NFL that have a no trade clause.
That makes sense. I wonder who the next non-quarterback will be to get one.
Yeah. It got to be a pass rusher, right?
Probably. Maybe a corner. But, like, even so, I don't know. Like, there's just not much reason to trade for or trade away another position that's, like, a meaningful player.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, not very often you get a Christian McCaffrey trade or a Brian Burns trade. And in those situations, they would pretty much certainly invite a trade. You know, but from the same team, I guess, both from the Panthers. But yeah, that's interesting. Good quiz. But let's do a different kind of quiz. Let's rank the NFC West by position here. I will read through the depth charts of everybody, and we will decide who's the top, who's the worst. We rank, or just by default, we have the Cardinals first because I can't imagine they are going to rank first for very many of these. But for quarterbacks, then we have Kyler. Who's Kyler's backup now? Desmond Ridder is there. Good for him. For the Niners, obviously Purdy. Josh Dobbs is there now.
Yikes.
and Tanner Mordecai. Shout out.
Shout out.
Seattle has Geno, Sam Howell, and that's it. It's kind of surprising. And then the Rams have Stafford, Stetson Bennett, and that's about it. Who's the worst? Probably Seattle?
I would say so. Other than like a half a season out of Geno, what has either of those quarterbacks proven to anyone?
Yeah. I think that's fair. And we almost kind of have to put Kyler at third, right? Or is there an argument to put him higher?
I'm not making that argument. I think he's third by a mile here.
Trevor?
I hate Purdy, so I'd put him at 3. But Kyler certainly is a 1.
I think Purdy's accomplished more in his career already.
Purdy wins.
Yeah, but I mean, as we've said
He's got
all the
stats
time,
too.
wins aren't a quarterback stat.
No, but stats are.
Yeah, and I also don't necessarily agree that about that what you said, Trevor.
Well,
I think
so. Defend it then.
I don't know. Like, if you're a quarterback, you have to be good, and more often than not, the quarterback is going to win the game, right? I guess there's situations where that I guess that's not true. I think Brock Purdy gets a lot of slack. I'm not saying that he's the greatest quarterback of all time or anything, but he's not a bad quarterback by any means. I know he's got a ton around him. It's a little JJ McCarthy-ish to me for Michigan. Who can you really say that he's a bad quarterback? I mean, he wins games, he gets it done. And I don't necessarily know that he makes horrible mistakes. I also, is he the guy that you were going to draft number 1 if you're resetting the league? No, but I mean, Purdy is doing things to continue the 49ers, I'm not going to say dominance, but winning in the playoffs.
I agree. I think he's a system quarterback, and that's not even like a knock. Like, there's a lot of players who wish they could be a system quarterback, and they're just not. Like, could Brock Purdy have this much success across the NFL? For sure, no. But I agree. I think I'm in between both of you two in terms of I think he's a pretty good player. I think he's very good mentally. And I think he just doesn't really make mistakes, which already puts him probably in the top quarter of the league. Truly. Quarterback play around the NFL right now is tragically bad, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's put Kyler third. Kyler's got a video game clause. Kind of hard to argue it. I think when Stafford's healthy, I think he's a top 5 quarterback. I really do. I think he's so good. So I would argue Stafford to be number 1. I think that would be polarizing. But what's your guys' thoughts between 1 and 2? I guess I assume Trevor would put Stafford above, I guess. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's no shot Purdy's ahead of Stafford in any world, in my opinion. Stafford can be a game breaker. I've never seen Purdy do that once in his life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you guys.
Okay, so we will have it like that. Running backs now. Starting with Arizona, we got James Conner. They drafted Trey Benson. And then they got DJ Dallas, Michael Carter, Tony Jones, DeMarcado. For the 49ers, obviously McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell. Then for Seattle, they have Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, Kenny McIntosh. And lastly, the Rams have Kyron Williams. They have Blake Corum got drafted there. Ronnie Rivers, Zach Evans. I mean, obviously Niners are 1, right?
Yeah, I think Niners are 1 for sure, and I think Arizona's last for sure. I think the conversation is between Seattle and the Rams, right?
Yep.
I would agree. I think Kyron Williams is a stud. So I personally would put him higher than Kenneth Walker.
I don't disagree. My only pushback is let's see it again out of Kyron.
Well, let's see it one time out of Kenneth.
Fair. Yeah, Kenneth is definitely a guy who probably gets more hype than what he's produced, right?
I think he's great in college, and I think he can be a stud. I just don't think, and this isn't his fault, it's just what he's being asked to do. I don't think he's anywhere near capable of being a bell cow. He just breaks down. And He's kind of asked to be that for whatever reason.
Now, is the collective of Seattle better than the collective of the Rams?
I
Or
would
does
argue you have just as many questions about Charbonnet as you do about Blake Corum, who we haven't seen yet.
agreed 100%?
So yeah, I think we're ranking starters between these two.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Trevor, thoughts?
I'd agree.
Okay. I'm like flipping back and forth. So we got Niners, Rams, Seattle, and then James Conner in the back. Offensive lines here. I will just start naming some names. So for Arizona, they got Paris Johnson Jr. at left tackle, then Evan Brown. I'm going to take a wild shot here. Hijalte Froholt at center. Will Hernandez, right guard. Jonah Williams is right tackle. Then Niners have Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, John Feliciano, and Colton McKivitz is the right tackle right now. For Seattle, Charles Cross, Laken Tomlinson, Olu, Christian Haynes, he just drafted for right guard, and then Abraham Lucas is their right tackle. They also have George Fant there as a backup. And then the Rams have, I guess, Alaric Jackson at left tackle, Jonah Jackson left guard, Steve Avila stud at center, Kevin Dotson right guard, and Rob Havenstein is their right tackle. Not the best offensive line division whatsoever. Any initial thoughts?
I mean, I think the one name that sticks out right there is Trent Williams, right?
It is. I think the rest of their offensive line is extremely mid.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I think you'd say the same about all these teams, though.
I agree. That's why it's like, if we're taking the average of everybody, I don't know. Trent Williams, by far, not even close, is the best lineman in the division. But, boy, I think Arizona... Is Arizona last? I like Seattle's offensive line for whatever it's worth.
Arizona is last, to answer your question.
I think they have to be. They're a good run blocking O-line, or at least a decent run blocking O-line. But I wouldn't trust them to actually set up. You could kind of say the same thing about the Niners at the current moment, minus Trent Williams. Seattle is question marks. I think Seattle has the most potential out of any of them. And then the Rams, I trust half of their offensive line, but it's not the left, which can be a little bit problematic for Matthew Stafford. We kind of have to weigh Trent Williams, though, right? Like,
yep, absolutely.
Do we put the Niners number one? Like,
I think they have to be. They have the clear-cut number one. Nobody else has a guy anywhere near his caliber. Yeah, everybody else is mid, but like, Trent Williams is a game breaker on his own.
For sure.
I don't hate him at 3 here.
I think you could make an argument for truly any of, because I think Paris Johnson Jr. can be a stud for Arizona, and I think they can run block the piss out of, compared to anybody else. So I think you can make an argument for anybody. I don't. If I'm rolling into a game, who am I afraid to stand behind or run behind? Like, I feel like the San Francisco 49ers are at least smart enough to not make mistakes.
That's fair.
But like, if you call Purdy a system quarterback, I think this is a system offensive line minus Trent Williams. Like, skill versus skill, man versus man. Niners are not it, despite what some people will say. But then I think Seattle has a chance to be number 2 here. I really do.
Do you think they have a chance to be number 2, or do you think they are number 2?
I think it depends on what their college coach here is going to do. But I think they are number 2 skill-wise for sure. Because, like, the Rams, I think, like, Steve Avila is good, but he's a center.
Right.
Rob Havenstein has been a staple at offensive line for,
Ever.
10 years, but he's getting up there in age. So I think the Rams have to be 3rd. I think they have to, especially if Havenstein goes down, then they're fucked.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I think we do this. Okay, wide receivers, more names people will actually know. Arizona, and for the people who are tuning into this, didn't listen to the other rankings, we do demerit or downgrade rookies a decent amount just because we haven't seen them yet. Like if there's a tie, we're certainly putting the rookie lower. And I say that to say Arizona is Marvin Harrison Jr. They got Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, Chris Moores, Zay Jones is there now. For the Niners at the current moment, they have Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing, Jawan Jennings, Ronnie Bell. Seattle, I don't know why I almost said Detroit. Seattle has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Then D. Eskridge is there. Jake Bobo. For the Rams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Johnson, and Jordan Whittington. How are we ranking these receivers?
All these teams are top heavy, right?
Yeah.
So to me, like if you're making me pick the best, the team with the best two, I think it's clearly the Rams, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I say, dude, Demarcus Robinson's no slouch.
No, I think Tutu Atwell, is a fine 4.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he moved Arizona down because they're not even in the conversation. I mean, they're in the AAA if every other team is in the major leagues.
Yeah, for sure. So then I guess the argument then, I think Seattle's got a legitimate 3, with Metcalf, Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think San Francisco has a legitimate 2. I think a couple rookies can certainly step up there as a 3. I would say their 2 is better for sure than Seattle's 2. So
I might even say as of now, I think San Francisco's 2 is better than Seattle's 3.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I guess both of these teams, you could, injuries are a pretty big issue. Sure. But yeah, when healthy, I think San Francisco kind of has to be 2. And Trevor, with the disrespect he put on Brock Purdy's name, I assume that goes with respect for the receiving corps, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't really trust anybody in San Francisco under 2, but first 2 are pretty damn good, so hard to discount that.
Okay, tight end. Arizona has Trey McBride. Niners have George Kittle. Nobody else really. The Seahawks have Noah Fant. Pharaoh Brown is there now. He's technically a tight end. Then the Rams have Tyler Higbee.
Hell yeah, he's out.
And then that's all. That's about it. I guess. Yeah, Colby Parkinson's there, I suppose. So I think, again, we're grading these guys fully healthy. Kittle has to be 1.
Has to be. Just move him.
Yeah. Okay. Then I think it gets interesting. Like, I think it's probably McBride, but you could say the whole do it again thing, though.
I'm going to be honest, Zach. I think how we have it now is good.
I'd agree.
I think Higbee's better than Fant.
Do you?
What's Noah Fant done?
What's Higbee done?
He had like 700 yards last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Like, when relied upon, Higbee's not bad. He just, once Nacua and Kupp start rolling, he kind of is an afterthought.
Yeah.
But Fant is never even like a first. Luke, you're always toying with who was the D lineman they turned tight end? What the fuck's his name? For Seattle. Like, every year we talk about him for the fantasy football show. Like, you know what? There's something about this guy. It's because Noah Fant isn't good.
Yeah.
What the fuck's his name?
Is it Will Dissly?
Will Dissly, yeah. Yeah. Doesn't look like he's there anymore.
I love Will Dissly.
Me too. I think he was the better tight end there. Like, I personally think Seattle's 4th, but I think you could argue it either way. Like, I'm not going to fight for it if you guys think it's this way.
I mean, no, honestly, no. I do like Tyler Higbee. I think I've started him the last 4 years in our dynasty league, just for the no tight ends being available. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, cool.
He's not flashy,
right?
But
We'll diss you on the Chargers, by the way.
Good. Hey, I mean, whatever. Trevor, what's your thoughts? You can be the deciding vote here.
That's a bad idea because I don't care about either of these tight ends.
Great. Okay.
I guess slightly Igby, but I don't really care too much. Seeing that he's done it at least once, that's a fair argument.
Okay. I don't think anyone's going to be angry that we do this. It'll be
no.
Okay. Cornerbacks here for Arizona. We now have Max Melton there, Sean Murphy Bunting, Garrett Williams. That's about it.
This team is bad.
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, great. For San Francisco, we have Javarius Ward. Renardo Green is a rookie getting called as a starter. Demondore Lenore. They got Isaac Eadam is there.
Shout out.
Trash.
Ambry Thomas. This team's, I mean, I'm going to be honest. They're third. Okay.
Yeah.
This might be the easiest one. Seattle is Michael Jackson. This is weird how they're ordering this. Yeah, I disagree with this depth chart, I suppose. But they have Kobe Bryant there. They have Rick Woolen. They got Devon Witherspoon. Yeah. Am I missing somebody? This is so. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but that's who they're listed. Okay, whatever. And then for the Rams, they have Darius Williams, Tre'Davious White, Quentin Lake, Colby Durant. That's about it. Pretty shitty corners, to be honest, in this division, minus Seattle. I think Seattle's.
Jalen Ramsey's with Miami now, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know why I still assumed he was in LA, but
I think this is the order.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sure is.
Yeah, they're not great.
Seattle would be a head and shoulders above everybody if they drafted, any cornerback ever in that first round this year.
Yeah. They're just a couple pieces away on defense, I feel like. Let's go with safeties here for Arizona. They got Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson. Now it's not loading. Okay, for San Francisco, they got Hufanga, Jair Brown, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Yep.
Malik Mustafa, great name. For Seattle, they have Julian Love. They have Rayshawn Jenkins. And most importantly, they do not have that bum from the Jets, Jamal Adams. He's gone now. At least for now.
Where is he now again?
I think he's a free agent.
Packers.
I don't think he's signed. That would make me so angry. For the Rams, they have Cameron Curl, Russ Yeast, and then they drafted Cameron Kitchens.
Ooh.
So probably Cameron Curl. They probably could work in Cameron Kitchens. Not a bad two. What's our thoughts on safeties? Probably Arizona one.
Yeah, I think the Rams could be two, but we do have to discount Kitchens. I really like Cameron Curl though, so I think
Cameron Curl's
three,
good.
but they'll move up to two.
So then you're putting San Francisco at two.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
Ufanga's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think after Arizona, I think you could order them however you want, to be honest. But Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson are pretty good one too.
Yep.
Hey, Cardinals, you got first in something.
I know. Good for them. Okay. D-line here. This one's always a little confusing, trying to put edge rushers where they need to be. So Arizona has Darius Robinson, who they drafted. They have Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones.
I'm sorry, timeout.
Yep.
I just see a headline, Jamal Adams is visiting with the Ravens.
He feels like a Raven.
Yep.
Tonga's there, but I'll just
Last.
preemptively put that there. Yeah, there we go. Next for San Francisco, Nick Bosa, Malik Collins, Javon Hargrave, Leonard Floyd, Drake Jackson, Yetur Gross-Matos.
It's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, well, again, preemptively put them there. Seattle desperately needed defensive line help. They kind of avoided that in the draft. Well, no, they drafted Byron Murphy. So they got Byron Murphy. They have Jonathan Hankins, Leonard Williams, Jerron Reed, Mafe, a little lackluster. And then the Rams no longer have Aaron Donald, even though they're keeping his locker open, I guess. They have Braden Fiskey, Jared Verse, Bobby Brown III, Kobe Turner. And that's about it.
They're third. That's like you listed 2 rookies off the bat, so I don't think they can be any higher than that.
That's true. Because I think talent-wise, I don't know. Even still, I'm not sure if I can reward Seattle.
I don't think we're rewarding them. I think we'd be rewarding LA for keeping Aaron Donald's locker open. Why?
But Seattle has nobody other than Byron Murphy, who's a
I heard
rookie as
Jaron
well.
Reed's name in there, so I disagree.
Yeah, he's losing his job to Byron Murphy. I'm okay with this. I'm fine with this. I think if they are who we think they are, Rams are second, but we haven't seen it yet. Linebackers for Arizona. They have Kaiser White, Chris Barnes, stud, BJ Ojolari. He might be more of an edge. I'm not sure. Zaven Collins is there. I like him a lot. That's about it. For the Niners, they have Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Devondre Campbell. Pretty top heavy. For Seattle, they have Jerome Baker, Nwosu, Tyrell Dodson. Yeah, that's about it.
That's fourth.
Yeah, put that there. And then the Rams have Christian Roseboom, Ernest Jones, good player, Byron Young, Troy Reeder. Yep.
I think they're 3.
Yeah, kind of hard to argue. Arizona won, San Francisco won.
For sure.
Yep.
Based on star power alone.
Yeah, have to be. Pretty easy ranking these defenses. Let's go to special teams. We put a lot of emphasis on the kicker, but we do kick returner as well. We're really not looking at kickoff teams and stuff like that. That would get too complicated. Arizona kicker Matt Prater. Their punter is Blake Gillikin. Kick returner and punt returner is going to be DJ Dallas or Greg Dortch.
Love Greg Dortch.
He's okay. He's predictable. He's good for DFS.
It's fun.
For San Francisco, they got Jake Moody, Mitch Wisnowski, and then probably Ricky Pearsall at punt returner, Jordan Mason at kick returner.
Yep, that sounds great.
For Seattle, they have Jason Myers at kicker, Michael Dixon at punter, D. Eskridge, if he's healthy, is probably returning. They also have LaVisca Chenault, apparently.
Ooh.
Maybe returning kicks. I don't know. The Rams, for their kicker, is probably rookie Joshua Carty, is what it looks like. Their punter is Ethan Evans. Kick returner, Ronnie Rivers.
Last.
Rams last? Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, San Francisco should be 3 too, because I do not trust Moody with anything in my life.
I think I trust Moody more than Jason Myers, though. I don't trust him. I think Moody's a dog.
Not,
I think he's
inconsistent. I
inconsistent.
think Dixon's a hell of a punter, personally.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think Arizona's the for sure one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because of Prater. Yeah, I'm fine with this if we want to do that.
Yeah.
Seattle too. Yeah, I think debatable, but I think first and last are pretty decided. But yeah, this is our rankings of the NFC West. Luke, what do you got to say?
I hate this division.
Me too. Me too.
This division is somehow almost always close, but still never fun.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the Rams, but that's about it. Not seeing Pete Carroll with Seattle is going to bum me out. I hate Arizona.
I like the Rams too. I like McVay. I like Stafford. Fine. I like players in the 49ers. I don't know. This division is just boring.
Yeah. We know who's going to win it. And then who really cares after that? Probably the Rams are going to be competitive if they're healthy.
And we know who's taking last. So it's just who wants
I don't
to
think
take
we do.
round 2 and 3.
I don't think we know who's last.
For sure last.
I mean, maybe. I think Seattle they have a very easy route to last place. Very easy. They just decided not to make their team better, and they got rid of a Hall of Fame coach. And they're like, okay, let's not add a quarterback.
It also sucks with this division too that the argument can be made that the top 6 players in this division are all in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's more than fair.
Top 8. Now that I'm counting in my head.
Yeah,
don't forget Campbell over there.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Hey, he's gonna play very well on that team, I think. Unfortunately,
he can play very well for 1 year and then quit on the team in the second year and say he doesn't love football anymore, and then get traded to another team and say, "Oh, I found my love for football," like he's done for the 3rd time now.
To be completely fair to Devondre Campbell, he is asked to play the wrong position, and this Packers coaching staff and front office also made me dislike football.
That's fair.
So, and he had to be around him face to face. If you had Joe Barry telling you how to do your job, Luke, just in your day-to-day life, could you imagine, what the fuck am I doing here?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I don't like Devondre Campbell as a person a ton, but hard to argue. It's kind of like, was it Martellus? Yeah, Martellus Bennett with the Packers. He fucked the Packers over, but don't blame him. It was a shit show. I would have done the same thing.
He at least defended Rodgers at one time. He did something, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Anything before we jump into the AFC West?
No, the AFC West
a little more exciting.
It's much more fun.
Way more fun. More variables, I will say. So let's jump into it. Got it here. Okay. Quarterback. So for the Broncos, we got Bo Nix as the starter, Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham. I was going to put them at last, and I'm not sure.
Third. They're third. The Raiders are last.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll back my guy Gardner till I die, but.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a clear 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We don't even have to debate it.
I don't know.
1 and 2 are for sure. 1 and 2 are for sure, though, right? We got Herbert 2.
Yeah,
Mahomes
for sure.
1. Okay. So let's take the whole group, because I don't think we can even rank the starters. So again, Broncos, Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham.
That's so last place.
For the Raiders, it's Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Anthony Brown Jr., somebody named Carter Bradley. They're probably third.
Yeah.
I think so.
Certainly could see Bo Nix being pretty good, but
yeah, for sure.
Haven't seen it.
Next year, Broncos are probably 3.
Yeah, I would
Hopefully.
guess so. Yeah, I think that's fair.
No, Raiders gonna be 1 next year after Gardner comes to town.
Maybe. Okay, running backs here for the Broncos. They have quite a few, if I remember right. Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine. They drafted Audric Estime. They got Jaleel McLaughlin still. They drafted, or at least maybe it's an undrafted free agent, of Blake Watson, who I am a fan of. Now for the Chiefs, they got Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Deneric Prince. They got rugby star Louis Rees-Zammit, and Keontae Ingram is there as well.
You say Jerick McKinnon?
I did not. He's not on the team. He's a free agent. For the Raiders, they got Zamir White, Alexander Madison, Amir Abdullah. And for the Chargers, they have J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Kimani Vidal.
Yeah, out of Troy.
Yep. And Jarrett Patterson's there. I like him, actually. What's our thoughts on these running backs?
I understand the one thing we say is when healthy, but J.K. Dobbins is never healthy. So that's him when healthy is off the field. So
Yeah.
just for that alone, I think the Chargers have to be 4 because although the Raiders aren't great at the top, they at least have some backups.
I think Gus Edwards is better than anybody on the Raiders.
But then their depth is brought into question with Dobbins on the bench.
I don't think Raiders have depth. Like, I think the Chargers could pick somebody else up today that's better than all of their starters.
Yeah, I'll argue for the Chargers because I like Kamani Vidal. I had him in our college football fantasy last
He's
year. Good. I mean, he's a bruiser. He works for yards. He's definitely not a bad player. We're probably not going to see the light of day for whatever. That's fine. So I'll argue for him. I don't like anyone on the Raiders. So like I'm going to go Chargers here
at 3.
At 3, yeah, ahead of the Raiders.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yes, ahead of the Raiders.
Yeah, we're definitely arguing about 3 and 4 here because again, a very clear divide.
Yeah, I don't know what the Raiders are thinking. Truthfully, like you can't give Josh Jacobs 400 touches back-to-back years and then not have a plan.
Right.
Kick the tires on Adrian Peterson again. How about that?
He could walk in and be RB1. I don't think Zamir White wants to be RB1, and Alexander Madison certainly doesn't. So like I don't know what they're doing. I really don't. I have to put Raiders last. I have to do it. So is Pacheco enough to beat the depth of the Broncos? Because I think I like Javonte Williams still. I'm still a fan.
I do as well.
So Broncos 1?
Yeah.
Broncos 1, Chiefs 2.
I think that's fair. Offensive line for the Broncos. They got Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, Luke Wattenberg, Quinn Miners, stud, and Mike McGlinchey. I like that O-line a lot, actually. For the Chiefs, they currently have... Oh, no. It's going to be Kingsley Suya-Amada at left tackle, I think. Then Joe Tooney at guard, Creed Humphrey center, Trey Smith right guard, and then Jawan Taylor, the man, the myth, the legend, is right tackle. For the Raiders, before we do any of this, I'll just do that. The Raiders have Colton Miller. They have Jackson Powers Johnson, love ya. Andre James, Dylan Parham, Thayer Munford Jr. Not great. And then the Chargers currently have Rashawn Slater, Zion Johnson, Corey Linsley, Jamari Saylor, and Joe Alt. So I think Broncos Chargers are battling for the top 2.
And I think with Alt being a rookie, I think they could be one after this year. But I think I think the way we have it is good.
That's fair. I have a similar mindset too.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you could certainly debate the 2.
Not looking good, Raiders.
I don't know. I'm interested in what the Chargers do, like for offensive line and schemes and everything. It feels like with the new GM, a new coach taking over, it feels like running the ball is inevitable here.
Yeah, it's Roman, Greg Roman's the offensive coordinator. So they're going to be running. They're going to do a variety of things up front. They'll be fine. They'll be certainly a better run blocking line than pass blocking line. Sorry, I got a million Slack messages coming at me right now. Super fun. Tight end for wide receiver for the Broncos. They still have Cortland Sutton. Josh Reynolds is there now. Marvin Mims Jr., Troy Franklin, hopefully Tim Patrick, Lil Jordan Humphrey as well.
It's not a horrible wide receiver core.
No.
Went on the field.
You're right.
Yeah. For the Chiefs, they have Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney, Justin Ross. For the Raiders, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Michael Gallup is there, Jalen Guyton. And the Chargers are Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, Brendan Rice, DJ Chark.
Last.
Just put them 4th.
Yeah, they got to be last. I think Chiefs are 1.
Do you?
And
Yeah.
I think Raiders are too.
I think Devontae's good enough to probably keep the Raiders afloat. I don't know. I think you could argue that because I think the rest of the Raiders suck.
I like Jacoby Myers. I don't think he's great, and I wouldn't love him as my wide receiver too. But I think he would be a really good 3. So I think that paired with Adams is good enough for second.
I think that's fair. Luke, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess that like to me, it's like Raiders Chiefs. It comes down to is the player on the Raiders better than the collective on the Chiefs, and it's hard to say that considering the Chiefs have like a million guys. So yeah, I get that.
And I'm still treating Rashee Rice as if he's playing because I think he is.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I think
that's
and
fine.
Chiefs had to be 1. So we think Raiders above Broncos. I think that's a true debate.
Here I'm going to say the Raiders over the Broncos.
Same, especially with the injuries. There's going to be at least 2 receivers that go down for the Broncos for the 5th straight year or whatever.
Probably true. Okay, now we're doing tight ends. And for the Broncos, we have Adam Troutman, Greg Dulcich. For the Chiefs, obviously, Travis Kelce. For the Raiders, they now have Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer for some reason. And the Chargers have Will Dissly as their starter, technically. But Hayden Hurst is there. He'll do the receiving stuff. And then Donald Parham Jr. is still there.
Yeah, I like the Chargers at 2 here.
They have a good blocking tight end group, which we can't fully discount.
Yeah, originally I was going to say Chargers at 3, but to your point, we don't know what Brock Bowers is, and we really don't even know what Michael Mayer is because now they drafted Brock Bowers. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think we for sure don't know what Brock Bowers is or Michael Mayer is. I would say for the people who may be getting upset, I think the Raiders have a better receiving tight end group. I think the Chargers for sure have a better blocking tight end group. So it's just what you're picking there.
Yeah, I like what the Chargers like. Hurst is a good receiving tight end. Parham and Dissly, fine, whatever. I mean, like you said before, they block, right? I think it's a good combination there. I kind of like what the Chargers have.
Yeah, truthfully, like if you told me the Chargers tight end group collectively outperforms the Raiders tight end group for fantasy, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Collectively.
Especially with their wide receiving core.
Yeah. Yeah, and the system and everything, and the quarterback play. I don't necessarily trust Gardner Minshew all the time, especially to throw to tight ends. So, yeah, I think that's fair. Cornerbacks now for the Broncos. We got Pat Surtain, obviously.
Good.
But then it's Levi Wallace, Jaquan McMillan, Chris Abrams-Drain. Yeah, so after Surtain, kind of sucks. For the Chiefs, we have Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie. Yeah, not great. For the Raiders, man, these are all going to be bad. For the Raiders, they have Jack Jones, Jacorian Bennett, Nate Hobbs. And then yeah, and Chargers are probably going to be 1 here.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so Chargers, they got Asante Samuel. They have Christian Fulton, Jasir Taylor. Yeah, that's all that's really needed.
Yeah.
Surtain's the best one.
Yep. I think that's why he goes second. None of these teams have depth.
Yeah, this is Surtain Broncos is like similar to Devontae Adams Raiders to me here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. For safeties for the Broncos, they have Caden Stearns and Brandon Jones.
Yikes.
Yeah.
This division fucking sucks,
I would say last, but I know the Raiders are coming up here.
At least the Broncos know they don't have to stop the pass in this division. So
right.
Yeah.
For the Chiefs, they have Justin Reed. They got Brian Cook, and then they drafted Jaden Hicks.
Yeah, fine, cool.
Yes. Raiders. The Raiders have Trevon Moehrig, Marcus Epps, Isaiah Pola Mao.
Oh boy.
That doesn't even sound like a real name. And then Chargers are number 1. Chargers have Derwin James. They have that's all that's needed. But Aloy Gilman, they have JT Woods. So yes. Chiefs got to be 2.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has to.
Just
I mean, you
keep
can.
the Raiders at the bottom.
I mean, throw a fucking dart here. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, you can debate it if you would like.
Like, no wonder these teams fucking suck. They can't beat Patrick Mahomes, you know?
It's every fucking year. And the
Right.
Raiders, like for the past decade, has been you do not have an offensive line and you have no D-backs.
You're right.
That's all it is.
Well,
Somehow Marcus Peters is going to end up on their fucking team again.
Well,
it's every year.
That was the funniest part about the draft. You had your pick of fucking defensive backs. You had your pick of whatever, and you go for a second tight end. I loved Brock Bowers, but what the hell are we doing?
Made no sense. Made absolutely no sense. Okay, defensive line here for the Broncos. They have Brandon Browning. They have John Franklin Myers, Zach Allen, DJ Jones, Nick Bonito. That's about it. For the Chiefs, they have George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Derek Nottie, Mike Dana, Mike Pennell. For the Raiders, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins is there now, Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntze, John Jenkins. Yeah, decent. And then for the Chargers, they have Joey Bosa, Puna Ford, Otito Ogbania, Morgan Fox, Tuli Pelotu. Sorry. I like him actually. Okay, but yeah. So, are we putting Chargers or the Chiefs or Raiders at 1 essentially?
Chiefs.
Okay, and then Max Crosby's good enough to have them too. Yes.
Yep.
I
think Bosa is enough for them to be at 3, personally.
Khalil Mack
is shit.
Khalil Mack is with the Chargers.
Okay.
For a linebacker, though, right?
I think you have to. He's listed at linebacker, outside backer. You have to put him at edge.
Yeah, you're right.
On the front line.
You're right.
I think they're 3 then.
Yeah, probably. Linebackers then for the Broncos. They have Alex Singleton, Cody Barton, Jonathan Cooper, Drew Sanders. For the Chiefs, they have Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquil, Leo Chanel. Stud.
Is Willie Gay still there?
I don't believe so. No. Not there. For the Raiders, they have Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo, Tommy Eichenberg is a draft pick, Luke Masterson. I wonder if he's related to the Scientologists.
Stephen Hyde.
Yeah, Hyde. But yeah, that's about that. And then the Chargers have Denzel Perryman, Diane Henley, Nick Neiman. They drafted Junior Colson. He'll probably start. Jeremiah Jean-Baptiste was a draft pick.
Last.
Okay.
Chiefs are 1 here for sure.
For sure. Chargers probably last.
Yeah.
I like Alex Singleton. I think he's pretty good. He might be good enough to have him at 2. I don't know. Raiders.
He is. The Raiders, as always, are dog shit.
I'm not sure if it's fair to put the Chargers last.
I think it is.
The Raiders have Robert Spillane, who runs in only straight lines.
Yep.
And then Divine Diablo, who's nothing more than a name.
You know, we hate the Raiders. Put them at 4. Who cares?
They're not good. They're not.
Wait, how many times have they been ranked second or better in this? Twice? Okay, cool.
D-line, Devontae and Max Crosby. It's been one player weighing them high. Okay, maybe they got a chance here. Special teams. Let's round it out here. For the Broncos, they got Will Lutz. They got Riley Dixon. In returning, they have Marvin Mims.
Not bad.
Not bad. For the Chiefs, they got stand-up man Harrison Butker. public speaker extraordinaire. And apparently Punt God is their punter. Who knew?
Yeah, he got signed just a little while ago.
Yeah, straight from the dorm party to the
Who would have
Chiefs.
thought the two worst players on the team would be on this fucking special teams?
I mean, Ariza was innocent. Harrison Buckard very much stands by his word. And then returning, maybe Xavier Worthy at punt returner. That's what they're listing. Kadarius Toney is in the mix. They like to put Prince back there at kick returner. So, yeah. Regardless, Harrison Buckard, stud kicker, we should say.
For sure.
Raiders have Daniel Carlson, AJ Cole, and then returning probably Trey Tucker.
Not horrible either.
Yeah, good special teams division. And then Chiefs, or Chargers, okay.
Yep.
Chargers have Cameron Dicker, J.K. Scott, and Darius Davis.
All you had to say was J.K. Scott. They're last. Lutz is probably third, and then we can argue about Raiders, Chiefs 1 and 2.
Chiefs are 1 here.
Yeah, Chiefs have to be 1. Have to be. Yeah, Will Lutz versus Daniel Carlson. Carlson, I think, is better.
Agreed.
I think it has to be Raiders, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Good
bad.
job, Raiders.
Chiefs never ranked last. They ranked third only twice.
And the Raiders never ranked first.
They did not. No.
Like, I know we love Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all the offense is great and everything. Scroll down a little bit. This is why this division is so fucking lopsided. Look at the defense.
Yeah, defense. Truly, the Chiefs did not win because of Patrick Mahomes last year.
Right.
It was good, but no, their defense led this team.
Right. And
again.
And I'll say Chargers are probably a little top heavy for corners and safeties. It just there's nothing else in the division. But it's
correct.
How fucking good the Chiefs are, man.
Yeah.
Well, and even if their defense wasn't good, all the other defenses are so awful. It's like what they win. You'd assume 5 games a year in the division at least.
It feels like the Raiders have been trying to wait out the Patrick Mahomes era, and it's just starting.
It's like what the Jets did for like Brady for 20 years.
Yeah, the Raiders aren't even trying.
Right.
I don't understand, and they may be second in the division this year, just out of sheer will. It's insane. Chargers should be second, but I don't know.
Chargers should be second. Yeah.
Was it the Raiders who lost to Jeff Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should have been demoted to XFL when that happened.
They went on a run. Like we should take a look at who had the best second half of the season records out there, and maybe that'll tell us a little bit about this year. Like the Raiders were good, the Bears were pretty good. There's certainly teams I think the Jaguars were probably pretty bad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they blew a 5-game lead in the division.
Yeah, I will say the Bears are going to be fun because they're going to start 7-2 or some dumb shit, and then they're going to crash. I'm not saying they won't make the playoffs because their schedule's so easy, but I can't wait to see expectations kill them.
Just look at the schedules. Like the NFL schedule makers tell you what's going to happen. Either you can't think the Packers are going to be good and think the Bears are going to be bad. You can't, because the Packers end their season with the Vikings and the Bears. And either, I don't know. I don't think the Packers are going to be that great, but I think the Bears are going to be, if they're healthy.
I mean, even
the video for it, but they should be.
I mean, even last year, the Packers were a couple plays away from 500. Did they get that much better? Probably not.
I mean, the whole thing it's the way you do analysis, I suppose. Like, who is another year in the system in the league? The growth from that, is that greater than signing people? That's the philosophical debate you have between the Packers and the Bears, I suppose. Because the Bears went out and signed players. The Packers are saying we have 90 out of 91 players at OTAs, and we're just going to get better from within, which is the Packers, way, if you want to call it that. And it might work. Like they think they have the 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl. Maybe. I don't know. But it wasn't that because of outside signings, obviously. It's not because of the draft. So if you see the same step up out of the receiving core from last year to this year, then all of a sudden the Packers have a top 5 receiving core, and then who knows? And that's about it. I don't know. Anything else we want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I'm trying to think if I got any good anecdotes. We haven't been on a show in a while. Been kind of boring in my life.
Shout out Matt Schneidman for his good analysis on the Packers today.
Yeah, Matt Schneidman making something about himself. What else?
Started. It was his birthday. He got wished a happy birthday. He talked about his France jersey that he had on, and then he looked down and showed the word Italy on there. So he started off hot there, and then he talked about how Josh Jacobs has proven to be durable. And then 2 seconds later said he's out with a hamstring injury. So nailed it there. It was a good time. Truly almost talked 0 Packers while he was on. It was just McAfee.
What else would
talking
you
about something? Yeah. All Packers anybody is talking about right now is the potential Jordan Love extension. And that's it. That's the only news. And okay, we'll see. Because he's going to get it. It's probably going to be June 2nd. And he's going to get broken off. It's going to be insane. But for right now, he is the leader Aaron Rodgers could never be, because he is at OTAs, and that's more important than pretty much anything. We probably should hang a banner for that, is what it sounds like. And we got 90 out of 91 players. I'm sure that won't cause any burnout, injuries, or anything like that. So the most important work is the work you put in May. So Packers are winning Super Bowl. Love it. Love it. We'll be back next week. Final week in May. We'll be wrapping up with the NFC and AFC East. A lot of debate there, especially NFC East. I feel like it's always a weird debate.
NFC East is a fun division, and I like AFC East.
Yeah, it'll be something for sure. More Aaron Rodgers talk.